This is my third time recording this video. First time on my phone. Let's hope this thing works. So, I'm doing an ADHD series. If you're unaware, I have ADHD. I've had it since the beginning of elementary school. ADHD stands for, well, first I'm doing elementary school, middle school, high school, camp. Camp's a whole other thing. You would think like, oh, I would just do camp and that would fit into those three things, but camp's is a whole thing on its own because I'm not medicated during camp. I'm only medicated during school. So yeah, I want to do a more edited version just so I make sure the clips are short this time. So if the editing style seems a little different, that's what's happening, because I'll record like a 3-minute clip on my iPad and then it would all be gone, so I don't want to risk that on here. So yeah, this is the elementary school part. So let's start off with what ADHD stands for and like some of the different things. So ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD for short. ADHD used to actually be considered two different things at one point, which is ADD and ADHD, because one would be affected by more like attention and the other would be more like hyper. Growing up, basically all the way until like freshman year, I would say I have ADD because I only had the attention deficit disorder part. I didn't really have the hyperactivity as much. Like, yes, I would like fidget and stuff like that, but that would like, because I would have a hard time paying attention. So as you can tell, I have the attention issues. Some of the symptoms are kind of like easily distracted, like having a hard time focusing, hard time sitting still. Like, let's say a normal person could probably sit down for like an hour and be perfectly fine. I'd have to, maybe like halfway through, I'd have to get up and like just like shake out my legs or my arms or something, and like, or like just walk across the room and then sit down, because sitting for an hour is hard for me. So for me, it's not like, oh, in preschool I was having issues, or like before that I was having issues. I didn't really start having my learning issues until first grade, because first grade's more like, yeah, like you're learning like actual math and not just like your numbers, like you're learning like more advanced things, like harder words and stuff like that, and like you're doing more word problems, and like it's not like, oh, like in kindergarten it was like 4 would be all blue, so let's picture color and all like blue, and like you learn your colors and your numbers together. So I was fine in kindergarten. I really started to struggle when it came to first grade, because first grade was a lot harder than kindergarten. And my parents didn't know why at the time. My mom knew that she had this, but she didn't know that I had this, because up until now I was performing perfectly fine in school. So it also took me in first grade anywhere from 4 to 5 hours, where in a normal first grader for homework it would take them anywhere from like maybe like 10 to 12 minutes. So that was kind of like maybe a telltale sign that I was like struggling, because like at school I was doing like pretty okay, but at home I would be doing homework from 4 to like 9:15 at night, from 4 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. like, and only take a break at 6 for dinner, and then 7:30 to take my bath, and then the rest of that time I was doing my homework, which isn't really normal for a first grader. Like, I finish my homework now at 9:15, but that's because I don't start my homework until like 6:30, like 6:30. So like that's a normal time to end for a high schooler, middle schooler, not a first grader. So when my parents realized that I was struggling with my homework, I think they talked to my teacher in first grade, and she said, "Oh, everyone's like this. It's a normal thing." And like, it's clearly not, because I'm pretty sure my parents would talk to their parents like, "Hey, is your kid like taking a couple hours to do homework?" And they're like, "No." We're like, "Oh, then maybe that might be an issue," because I also remember my parents would have to sit with me doing my homework, so they would help me like understand it. So my teacher was like, "Oh no, she's doing normal, like blah blah blah." My teacher also said, "Oh, most kids are like this. Most first graders are taking 5 hours to do a 4-question math sheet and like a 10 page and a 10-word like spelling thing." Like, no, that's not normal for a first grade. Because like later on with my brother, he had a different first grade teacher and he did perfectly fine, and he didn't have to go and like figure out the ADHD stuff. So like my teachers thinking that was normal, like kind of like made it hard for us to like figure out how to help me through that. So now we're up to the part, I have a bunch of notes on the side right here, where I got diagnosed. So I don't know if my parents reached out to the school or if the school was like, "Yeah, we should do this," but I didn't go to like a separate place like to get tested. Like there are some testing facilities like that will test for ADHD, like some hospitals like in a separate like place will have, or like doctor's offices or whatever, they'll like test you. So I think it was like maybe third, fourth marking period. It wasn't long enough into the marking period where like they could like change my entire like school thing and like move me into resource, which I'll talk about in a second. So the school had me go to the nurse's office twice that day. Once to do like my blood pressure and my heart rate and like all that other stuff, just like all the medical stuff, so like when the doctor gets there it won't take as long. And then they had the specialist come in, and they basically like, I kind of vaguely remember one of the tests. It was, he had like a pen cap, he had a pen, and he was like, "Focus on the pen," like, and it'll be for a while. It was like, "I'm gonna poke your hand with a pen, I want you to only focus on that." And like there's like some like pen things, whatever. And I remember that day, I'm pretty sure that exact day they told my parents I had ADHD, or that following day they had it. But I remember it was early enough in the school year where for, I think it was for a week or so, I went through, and because if you have ADHD you don't necessarily need an IEP, which I also go further on with that. But yeah, so the school diagnosed me, and then I had to go to my normal pediatrician to get a prescription for my medication, and I actually lost like 5 pounds from that. And my brother was also put on, this happened in second grade because I remember my brother was in kindergarten and he also lost some weight. He got all the negative side effects, I got more of the positive ones. But because my brother also lost weight and not just me, they saw it was normal. So yeah, that's how I got diagnosed. I had to go through the school because if my grades weren't, also the reason the school diagnosed me, so we went out to go to separate places, because they saw that I was struggling as a first grader when like I shouldn't be. And since my grades were being like really affected, they were like, "Yeah, we should get this like checked out before like anything else happens." So now time for the thing that basically saved my educational life. So an IEP. There's IEPs and 504s, and I don't know if there's anything else, but an IEP is an individualized education plan, and I don't really know what a 504 is. If you do, feel free to drop it down below, or I'll look it up and I'll put it like right here. So I have an IEP. My brother has a 504. He got his later. It was because like he had a whole issue in end of elementary school, middle school with like teachers and like all this other stuff, but he has the hyperactivity stuff, so like he didn't need like the education change. He just needed the teachers to know like, hey, he has this thing. But I needed my education changed. So I remember in elementary school they would do like these testing things to do like reading comprehension, where like you would like read something and then the teachers would ask you questions and like all this other stuff. I was never as high as the other kids, but that's just because I had challenges. So I remember I did IEP testing for, this also wasn't with my original case manager. My actual case manager was on maternity leave. What's your name? We know you. I only know you by your first name. I miss you, Miss Vicky. I doubt you're gonna see this, but like, I wish I could. I want to see if I can go with my friends and then go visit them. They probably have no idea who we are, unless next year for marching band or choir we see them. I don't know. I want to see Miss Vicky again. I miss her. I remember with my IEP, I get like, I know for the park, the dreaded park, or NJS, because I used to have, as it used to be called, I get extended time. So like, I extend time, and I also got to use that towards my SAT. My SAT got time and a half. So if it was a 30-minute section, I would get an hour and a half to do the entire section. Because like, I also would get like, I would get pulled out for classes, and I would also get an extra period like once or twice, however many times I need to go a week, to make up work or like work on a project or like stuff like that. And I remember in elementary school, up until like 6th grade, yes, my elementary school, I didn't go to their preschool because they started the preschool after I joined, which is weird because my high school is a preschool, so I don't know. So my school had the grades from pre-K to 6th grade, so basically you're there for half your life. But I was there from kindergarten to 6th. From 2nd grade to 5th grade, in my resource classes, I would always almost have like another person with me. In 6th grade, a lot of the times I would be like by myself because the kids either like didn't need to go or like all this other stuff. But I remember we got a kindergartner, and I would sometimes be put in charge to go get the kindergartner, so I'm like, hell yeah, they trust me. But my IEP also, I would get taken out for my English class, so I would bring my textbook and my workbook and like my pencils and stuff like that to my English classroom, and like my binder. I actually have my binder from one of my resource teachers over there. It has like a bunch of like different things, like writing and English and history and stuff like that. I would bring my binder and all my stuff there, and then like I would work on it there and like do all that stuff, and then I would have math with the normal class. Go there for English, and then I would go there like at the end of the day. Let's say instead of doing health with the class, we didn't really do health in elementary school, so doing health with the rest of the class, I would go and like make up work or make up a test or like finish a test, stuff like that, because I would get like extended time, or like I would get like modified tests because like the comprehension stuff would be too much for me. And I actually have a fun story with my Spanish test, which I'll talk about in the middle school video. So yeah, so like there was also 3 different resource teachers when I went there. Then we got a 4th one, but I didn't go to the 4th one. And you could either have the same teacher for your English class and your like little like makeup, like I don't remember what we called it, like makeup class. Like you 2 different teachers, blah blah blah. Actually, where's that piggy bank? This piggy bank I got from my resource teacher, which I'm obsessed with her because she like made this, and like a lot of my little knickknacks that I have are from her, I think, because for homework, if you did all your homework, you would get like a penny. So once you collected a certain amount of pennies, you would get a prize. So this thing, y'all already know, was filled with pennies. And she was my only teacher that did that. But yeah, so I basically would be like taken out for stuff, or like I would get independent class time, or like in some of my classes we'd have another teacher come in like help out, or like I would be pulled to the back to like get extra help, things like that. So yeah, that's what my IEP is like in elementary school. So I want to talk about 2 more things. The first thing I guess I'll do is the medication, because that's what I'm still on my medication. I started taking medication in, like I said, 2nd grade, and I took, I believe, 24 milligrams, 20 something. I took the smallest dosage, and I took that all the way up until 7th grade, I think, and my doctor was impressed because most people don't last that long on that medication. And then I went up to 36, and that went up till... Hey, I'm just popping in real quick. I don't know why, like, if you listen closely, it kind of sounds like I have the alien filter on. I was recording with my phone on top of my computer. I think that might have something to do with it, so, like, sorry. Freshman year, because sophomore year we started block scheduling. So I'd be in the class for, like, 80 minutes. And someone with ADHD can't stay there that long. So I think I'm on, like, the highest dosage now, which I think is, like, 56 milligrams. So that's a lot, and is a controlled substance, so I only get a certain amount of pills, and like we need to, like, it's a weird thing, like I couldn't go get it myself because they need ID in my, well, I probably could get it now, but I'm 17, not 18, so I also need to figure out how it's going to work with college, because I don't know if I'd be able to get my medication prescriptions, like if I don't go to college near like where my doctor is, then or like whoever gives me my medication, I don't know if I'd be able to have it, because also people will deal them like drugs, so like I have to be very careful with my medication. And they typically give me like a month's worth, but it lasts me longer because like on weekends I don't take it. Like, let's say there's a holiday and like I'm not in school, I don't take it then. So yeah, and also I'm gonna talk about how like kind of like the ADHD scale. My mom like talks about this a lot, so like I don't know if this is like an actual like legitimate thing that people use, or like is an actual thing. It's kind of like the spectrum. It's kind of like the autism spectrum or scale, where it's like either high functioning, low functioning, like that kind of thing. But with me, I think my mom says I'm kind of like the low to mid side, so I'm not like at like the low where like it barely affects me, or like I'm not like in the middle where like directly in the middle, but I'm also not really high functioning. I'm like kind of like, let's say like it goes from here to here, like no, let's say this dot's like the middle, and like here to here, kind of, that's kind of like the middle. I'd be like here, like I'm not directly in the middle, but like I'm close enough. I'm also like not low. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this dot right here when I do that, but I'd be like, the scale would be like this, and I would be like kind of like lower on the middle side. But yeah, so that's always like something that I'm aware of, that like people may like, oh, you don't, one of the main reasons I should make this video is because I always feel people are like, oh, this person has ADHD, when I can tell they don't, or like they're not as high functioning as like the average person. Well, not like the average person, but like they may, because everyone shakes their leg, everyone taps their foot, everyone like does certain things, so it doesn't mean people can't sit still for an hour straight. I remember last year in my choir class, they're like, oh, this person has ADHD because they can't sit still for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, no human being, if you tell them sit still, we're going to time you, whenever you move, that means you have ADHD. I'm like, that's not how it works. You're not a doctor. You can't like diagnose this. Like, so I would be saying, I'm like, I always want to say like, she doesn't though. And like, and if they said, how'd you know? I'm like, because I've had it since 1st grade, probably longer. Like, I know these things, and if you don't believe me, literally go to the child study team. Like, but yeah, so basically ADHD is like a scale, and I think my mom says my brother is a little higher than me, so I think he's like mid to high, but that's because he has the hyperactivity stuff. So yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. I don't know who's gonna benefit from this video, but I feel like because of a lot of people not understanding why I act a certain way, making this video will help me and maybe some of you like understand the big world of ADHD. Cause like a lot of kids in my school don't understand why I act a certain way, and then tell them like, oh, I have this thing, and then like, oh. But yeah, so that's it for today. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. My Twitter is at sugarpoodle019. My TikTok is at matisse.kaylee, and my Instagram is mcred_music. Don't forget to comment down below if you know what a 504 is, or 2, if you know someone that has ADHD, or if you have it yourself, and maybe we can talk about like our different experiences. Don't forget to like the video if you like me talking about my personal experiences, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when I post the rest of this series, and also don't forget to hit the bell so you get a notification when I post the rest of this series. So yeah, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell, and remember to always stay happy, keep smiling, bye.